So we learn from you today.
Okay, B'siyata Dishmaya, we're learning now on Isur Chag, the day after the holiday. Isur Chag ad Karnot HaMizbeach. Like we say on Halel, on Isur Chag, this day after the holiday is the day that we are able to come down from the high of the holiday. Isur Chag ad Karnot HaMizbeach. Isur La'asor is to tie up. We tie up the Chag ad Karnot HaMizbeach until the corners of the Mizbeach, of the altar. It said that the altar is the heart. We have to tie this holiday to our hearts. Make sure that we live out all of the Torah that we downloaded. And that Misiyut Nefesh, that self-sacrifice that we put into learning so much and staying up at night. The preparation of cleaning and of yearning. We want to tie all of those lights, the light of the Torah, to our heart, B'ezrat Hashem. We're going to be learning in the gates of the Baal Shem Tov. We are in a beautiful Torah from the Ben Parat Yosef in Parashat Vayetze. It says, B'Zohar HaKadosh. It talks about Elisha, the prophet. It says, Dela avar zvuve befatore. There was never a fly on his table. It says about Elisha. And the Ben Parat Yosef says, Shamati mimori be'ur shas. I heard from the Baal Shem Tov an explanation of what it says in Shas and Sukkah, Masechet Sukkah, 80 talmidim hayu leHillel. Hillel had 80 students. And he lists them off. And it says, it gets all the way to the point, Ad of haporeach nisraf behevel piv, till Yonatan ben Uziel, the Yanuka, is buried not far from here, 20 minutes from here, from Tzfat. It says about him that any bird that would fly next to him would get burnt from his breath, just from the Torah that he was learning. Ulavin zeh, gam be'ur Shas, also another explanation on Shas in Masechet Brachot, shelo nira zvuv al shulchano, that there wasn't ever a fly on his table, and so on and so forth. What is all these things? What are these ideas that these holy people didn't have flies on their table, birds that would get burnt in front of them when they were learning? What's happening? Baal Shem Tov says all of this goes according to the thoughts of a person. So too, there will be worlds above him that are standing on top of him. And if your mind and your thoughts are in holiness and in spirituality, so too the worlds above you will also be. And if your thoughts are in Tumah, so too that's how the worlds will be. And according to the thoughts of the world, so too physicality starts to mimic that. And you have different birds or animals that come across you physically in the streets. There's pure birds and there's impure birds. So to the rest of the animals, there's impure animals and there's pure animals and there's animals that are in the middle. There's 3 different levels. Teorim, pure animals. Tmeim, impure animals. And Memutza, and the intermediaries that are somewhere in between. And above Yesh Olam HaSechel, there's the world of spirituality, of thought, she'en shum davar mesigo, that nothing in the world could ever understand that world. And this is what it says, Kol of haporeach nisraf, any bird would get burnt, would burn. And this is what it means also, zvuv shulchano, meaning what's going on here. When you have a holy person, and his thoughts are holy, and are always connected to Hashem and spirituality, so then he, so to say, purifies the world above him, the worlds above him. And when they start to get brought out in front of him, so then they send holy, pure animals in front of him. And they remove all impure animals. The people we're talking about here, that they didn't have flies on their table, when birds would fly in front of them, they would get burned. We're talking about some of the holiest people in the world. So what does it mean that if a person doesn't have a fly on their table? That they purified their mind so much that physically in front of them they don't have a reality of impure things coming around them. And some people, their mind is connected to very negative things in places of tumah, and they have more tumah walking in front of them, right? If you live in South Florida and you're walking, sometimes you see crocodiles coming across the street. What's the mindset of a place like that? Mimics the animals that you have around it, right? Eretz Yisrael used to be a desert with crazy animals. There used to be lions here, there used to be bears here, all of that. Baruch Hashem. Now we only have one kind of animal that lives here, around 2 million of them, but Zat Hashem, slowly but surely, we're trying to purify the mindset and get all of the negativity out. And then in front of us, we're only going to see pure things. A little bit more depth on this idea. Rav Itzhak Rafael says on Yonatan ben Uziel that any bird that flew in front of him would get burnt. He says, don't understand it as bird, rather ofan. There's what's called of, which is a bird, and then there's ofan, which is a type of angel. Yonatan ben Uziel was so holy that when an ofan would come into his airspace, it would nisraf. There's another angel called a saraf, another type of angel that's called saraf, and it's higher level than an ofan. Rav Itzhak explains that Yonatan ben Uziel was on such a high level that when he would learn Torah, if there would be an ofan, an angel that was an ofan, come into his airspace, it would be elevated to become a saraf. This inspires us too that our mouths should be like that we should be able to give over Torah and think Torah and have our mind in such a level that there's purity around us, and even things that are pure, we're able to elevate them to higher levels. One more little teaching here for the Baal Shem Tov. Shamati mimori, yichabek la bala biyisoda dila. This is from Azamer B'Shvachim, a song written by the Arizal. The Arizal wrote 3 songs for the 3 meals of Shabbat. The first one of the night meal is called Azamer B'Shvachim. And in there's a line, yichabek la bala biyisoda dila. Her husband will hug her, grasp her, embrace her, from the yesod, from the foundation, from her foundation. Not getting into what the Arizal is all teaching here, we're going to focus on what the Baal Shem Tov says. The husband will embrace her from the foundation. The Baal Shem Tov says the secret here in that line, and the song from the Arizal, is la'alot madrega ktana hi yoter chashuva laHashem yitbarach. La'alot madrega ktana hi yoter chashuva laHashem. To elevate the lower levels is more important to Hashem. To elevate, so to say, to embrace the foundation. The foundation is below the building; it's not seen. Right? To elevate it back up, that's what's important to Hashem. B'ezrat Hashem. That's our learning for today in the Baal Shem Tov. Siyata Dishmaya.